It is time for Tuesdays with Tiki as we welcome in Tiki Barber. And with the Jets at 5-9 and out of the playoffs, I don't think it was a shocker that Aaron Rodgers won't play again this year. But Tiki, what was your biggest takeaway from what he had to say on Tuesday?
Well, other than the fact that we've made Pat McAfee appointment listening at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, I think there are a couple of things. One, that he wants to play a couple more years, not just next year or 2 years, but maybe even 3 years. And we haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks do that. We kind of assume that it's going to happen with these older quarterbacks, but really it's just been Tom Brady. So I think that's the one takeaway. But I think the more important one is that his vote of confidence to the staff here, and that's Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and my good buddy Nathaniel Hackett, are all going to be here next year. As long as Aaron Rodgers wants them here, they're going to be here. I think he and the staff owe it to the Jet fans and the Jets organization to see if this thing could work. I was over there in training camp this offseason, and you could feel this energy all around Aaron Rodgers being their starting quarterback, and it never was realized because of the injury that happened, obviously, in week 1. So I think the fact that he's going to be here and that's going to be the same staff was the biggest thing you took away from his speaking today.
Yeah, you're totally right. But, man, it feels like a long time ago when there was energy around the Jets and Aaron Rodgers over the summer. As you pointed out, he said he wants to play at least 2 more years. So, Tiki, how do you think that'll impact the Jets' approach to the quarterback position in the draft or free agency this offseason?
Oh, I think it's significant. Now, I mean, for the longest time, I've always felt that Zach was never here for the future. One, because if Aaron was going to play for 2 or 3 or 4 years, it didn't line up with him with his 5th-year option and where they would pick it up for that essentially franchise tag number. And so Zach is likely elsewhere. They're going to attempt to trade him this offseason. And so drafting a quarterback is probably not in the cards. They don't have a 2nd-round pick, and they need to use that 1st-round pick on a valuable piece for this offense or defense going forward. Well, so it means that free agency is going to be imperative, and especially free agency at the quarterback position. There's a bunch of guys that are up right now. Gardner Minshew will be available. Ryan Tannehill will be available. Jacoby Brissett, to name a few. Obviously, Tyrod Taylor for the New York Giants as well. So I think a lot of people talked about this past offseason, and it's going to become paramount this offseason, is having a quality backup quarterback just in case. Someone you don't have to overpay, but someone who can come in and potentially win you some games.
No doubt, established quarterback's going to be very high on Joe Douglas's priority list. All right, let's talk New York football big picture here, because the Giants have allowed an NFL high 76 sacks this season. The second most, the Jets with 61. Tiki, why were other teams around the league able to manage multiple injuries to their O-line, while Big Blue and Gang Green seem to just crater right off the bat?
So I think it's a couple things, Eamon. One is the quality of the depth. Right? You get your starters hurt, and then you have guys who are either inexperienced or just journeyman backup linemen who can't fit the bill. And when you watch the Jets, I mean, some of these guys are getting beat in seconds. I mean, 1 or 2 seconds, they're beat. And so the quarterbacks really never have a chance. And so building depth at the offensive line has always been one of the most important things that a GM can do. And neither the Giants or the Jets have been able to do that. The Giants mostly because they had enough salary cap space to do so. I think the Jets, we know it's been an indictment for a couple of years now. But the other thing, and this is probably more important, Eamon, is that the backup quarterbacks are young. And particularly now with Tommy DeVito, who's taken 35 sacks. He's only started 5 games. That's 5th in the NFL. And he's only had 5 games to do so, as well as Zach Wilson, who's just trying to learn this new system. So to me, it's a combination of offensive line and youth and experience, still growth potential needed from the quarterback position. It's been frustrating, obviously. I think the hardest thing for young quarterbacks is to throw an incompletion. You always want to get into the right play. You always want to find a way to be successful, when sometimes taking no yards is better than taking negative yards.
Yeah, we definitely saw that with Zach Wilson when he was playing against the Giants. He couldn't make a decision, and he ended up getting sacked. All I know is Hassan Reddick and the Eagles must be chomping at the bit for 4:30 on Monday to get here. Tiki Barber, exactly, that says it all. Thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.
Be well, Eamon. Merry Christmas.